Hello there, I'm Michael Morris. I'm the director of this episode.
Hi, I'm Ann Cherkis. I'm the writer and producer of this episode.
Hi, I'm Bob Odenkirk. I play Saul Goodman.
Hi, I'm Tony Dalton, and I play Lalo Salamanca.
Hi, I'm Dean Norris, and I play ASAC Hank Schrader.
Very exciting. Shout out on this to this amazing sequence that was so fun to do, to Anne and Peter for the conception of the thing, but also to the brilliant Chris McCaleb, the editor of this episode, and the equally brilliant Thomas Golubich, who constantly finds incredibly exciting music to put behind these sequences.
Well, Michael, you also, of course, did an incredible job with this, and we were filming this while we were also filming another scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's how, when I look at it again, I can't believe we did that.
I know.
We filmed this at the same time as we filmed it. We filmed what might be one of the centerpiece scenes in the show, certainly, and maybe even one of the in the season to date, which was the return of Hank and Gomi. But we'll get there. This seemed so interesting right off the script. This notion that this one little ant finds such a promised land, finds some success, and then before he knows it, he's overrun by the filth, and carnage. Seems right for this episode.
Yes.
Kind of reminds me of that the Wild Bunch. Remember at the beginning where all the ants are eating the scorpion?
Oh yes. You know what? I didn't have that as a reference, but that's a great reference. Next time I'll be watching
I always thought of that when I saw this.
That's funny.
Very nervy start. This is I don't know how often you do this in the show, but it's a direct continuation from the previous episode.
Yeah, not that often. Every once in a while. Okay, so we're seeing the inside of this car, which yep, there's Blingy's gun. We see his ripped earlobe, which if you remember, Nacho did that to him in 408, I believe.
These little glimpses of things that fans of the show might recognize, from previous times, but without really telling you where you are. Part of the fun here was to make a good reveal for Lalo.
Mm-hmm.
I love what Marshall did here with the shafts of light, It's worth saying that we're some minutes into the episode without a word being spoken yet.
I just noticed I didn't get a credit on this. What the hell?
Well, yeah, I believe that was so we were going to preserve the surprise for the audience.
I'm sure.
So here we are in this garage, and it's not easy to tell, but we've been in here before. This is the Salamanca's garage. This is where the vet sewed up Nacho after he was shot by the cousins. And I think the reason we wanted to set it in here is that we wanted to show Lalo working on his car. And even though we don't really feature it, he's replacing a part in his car. Maybe it was the carburetor. I'm not a car person.
Can I talk? I'll talk. I have a feeling I know what this is about. So just to get the ball rolling, please keep in mind that whatever happened between Mr. Varga and myself, I'm hoping that it's just water under the bridge, because
this is another scene that rewards the real fans of the show, because it's referring, of course, back to scenes from previous seasons.
That's right. what Jimmy's referring to is in season 1, Nacho was arrested and Jimmy helped get him out by proving that the Kettlemans actually kidnapped themselves. If you remember when Jimmy finds them in the tent in their backyard.
Oh, sure, yeah. And I see the family resemblance.
That's good, the family resemblance. Because I look like Tuco.
Yeah. A serious passion for justice.
He's got a temper, huh?
This was a great idea, Michael, to use the mirror.
Oh, yeah. We put this was all designed, wasn't it? We put the sink in and the mirror and the table across to allow for this strong cross that Tony's going to make soon.
You're the guy with a mouth.
Yeah, so Jimmy's the one with the mouth. That was referring to actually episode 2 in season 1 when Jimmy's scam sort of went sideways and he ended up crossing paths with Tuco. And Jimmy was able to talk his way out of Tuco killing the Skate Twins, and instead he broke their legs, but they were not dead.
There's a very real sense of dread in this scene, a long uninterrupted scene, unusually long actually for television, but I think it's wonderful to watch you, Bob, play this. Like, how do I play this? How do I navigate this moment?
Well, this guy's a big coward, scared out of his pants right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the crazy thing is he became Saul to solve his problems, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like within what? Did he get a week without a gun to his head?
If that.
Right.
If that.
I mean, he had no break at all from like going down the toilet.
Right.
And he thought, I know, yeah, I'll do this. And then like right away, he's got Lalo in his face, you know, and just the stakes are going through the roof really fast, which is, I even think like he doesn't have, it's going so fast and it hits him so quickly that he doesn't even have time to think and realize like this probably won't work out. This idea of being a low level lawyer and, you know, somehow being safe and making a lot of money doing that. Like he should just see that coming right now. And it just happens so quickly, you know, that he's in deep shit.
That's why, to me, he's the ant at the beginning. He climbs right to the top and he's like, look at this. Look at what I found. I'm brilliant. And before you know it, it's a disaster.
Terrific. That's the only word for it.
Bob, you did such a great job in this scene. It's just,
you're nice.
Maybe, but I am. It's true. Because the way your different reactions are just priceless.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. It's fun to play him in trouble like this.
Mm-hmm.
He's he creates his own problems and he gets in them it's great. And he's sweating it out and it's not going well. And it's fun. It's fun to play him dancing like this.
Yeah. I love that the three different energies in the scene.
Yes. And this is the first time you two have had a scene together, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right, Tony?
Yeah.
How was that, Tony? You were definitely having fun.
Yeah, I went to see Bob, I think it was the day before. Remember we went to that house that you were filming and we kind of just rehearsed the lines a little bit and just kind of just try to get a little bit, an idea of what the hell was going on. It was the first time I was going to work with Bob. And it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you're so great as Lalo. It's the best. It's great fun to watch, man. I love seeing his swagger. His swagger, as opposed to Saul's swagger, is the real thing.
It's funny.
Saul is like pretending to be, cool and good and copacetic with things, and then here comes Lalo, who's got like real he's a really genuinely scary guy who really doesn't give a shit about what's happening in this community.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not even he doesn't care. He's probably happy to leave whenever he gets to leave. I don't know.
Yeah, back home to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to give a little passing credit here because this scene is has a memory of it of a scene from 408 where Mike went and had a drink right here at this bar with Werner. And if you see in this shot right here, there's an empty seat right next to him on the right, and that was a way of trying to imply to the audience that he's there in spirit, if not in person. And a lot of the beautiful wide shots I made in this scene to reference that episode, which so well done to Jim McKay, who did a great job directing that. But also it was Tony's debut episode in the Breaking Bad world. So it's got a little full circle.
Yeah, well, I mean, Michael, this was so well thought out on your part, and I love those ideas that you brought to it.
Thank you, but it's really a case of turning the camera on when you're with Mike Ehrmantraut here.
Well, yeah, I mean,
he carries so much history and so much intention.
Yes,
I thought our bartender Daryl did a wonderful job with him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Such a sad scene. And again, what I love as a viewer of the show, apart from someone who's lucky enough to work on it, is that this does not spoon feed the audience. If you didn't watch that episode, if you don't know that the Sydney Opera House is a direct reference to something,
right,
many episodes in the past, you're not going to get it. And I think that's very brave of this show.
Yeah, I mean, that's, of course, that's all Peter. I mean, everybody we always pull back and back and back. If something is in any way sort of obvious, it comes out. It's such a great lesson in terms of storytelling. This is fun. This was a great scene to shoot.
I got a lot more than $20, asshole.
Banks loves this stuff.
Oh, he did. Yes, he does.
Come on.
He got to choreograph. We got to, Al Godo choreograph this moment coming up.
So?
It's a pretty good punch that he got.
Yeah.
Oh.
That sound effect is great. And also, by the way, I believe when Jonathan stepped on the kid, that wasn't scripted.
Correct.
He just did it, which was
yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
All right, so here we are.
And here's the first of two shots that we're going to do in this episode to really hit the circularity that was in the script here.
Exactly.
The way this is structured.
Here we see Jimmy coming home after a long day, and then towards the end, we'll see Kim coming home.
Just about. Thanks.
It's so interesting, this beer bottle that's about to come up. I mean, I always thought of this scene as a little bit like a love triangle between Jimmy and Kim and Saul in a weird way.
Everything good?
And that bottle that he puts there, like, is it going to fall? Is almost the third. Almost represents like the danger that is the third part of this love triangle.
That is Saul. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's actually a shot coming up that will at least imply that.
Right.
You guys were so good in this scene, Bob, and I would say that to Rhea if she were here too. It was a real...
I'll tell her you said so.
Yeah, please do.
I'll keep it a secret. We love to play these small moments because we actually do get along really well, and we're good friends, and it's fun to it just feels like it's nice to make these people real and kind of make it small for as long as we can. It feels like you're bringing a real person to life that way. And then, of course, there's a lot of high tension drama. But then this makes it more real to me. Makes the relationship more real.
Absolutely.
Agreed. We work really hard in the room to find those moments. And this is an interesting little scene because we really grappled with, Kim is she's not happy with him at the moment, in this episode, and yet we didn't want her. It was a very fine line. And really the only indication the audience gets is when she says good for Saul. That
was she considering tossing me over the railing?
Didn't come up. This is great. This actress here.
Yeah, no, she
did a
Poppy was
wonderful
great.
job. Yeah.
And I also love the difference between the way Poppy's playing it and the way Katarina's playing it as Amber there in
Their
the background.
energy
It's
totally different.
Couldn't be more opposite. He looks like half done.
Yeah. And by the way, that pharmaceutical ad that we just saw, the fun fact on that is that was actually created, Vince Gilligan created that for El Camino, and they didn't end up using it, and so they gave it to us to use here.
I love what the production design team has done with Nacho's place.
Yeah,
it's great and really lends itself to all this wide stuff, and it's cold surfaces. It's a really interesting spot.
Yeah, it's a nice contrast to lots of our other locations. Yeah, and Michael, of course, is just. I mean, he says so much without saying anything.
Who is this?
Yeah, this episode has a lot of really in-depth, long, nuanced scenes.
Yeah.
As opposed to some episodes where you have many scenes, but they're shorter and with less in them. This is another one coming up with his father.
Yes. It's one of the best scenes in the episode.
That guy's great too, the dad.
Yeah.
Giancarlo can too. Great actor.
Yeah.
Can't wait to show his dad his prostitutes.
Got some girls over, Dad.
Dad, wait till you see. They've got jobs.
Well, his live-in friends.
I love the way she says hi to the dad here. This always made me laugh.
Yeah. She's a little coy, a little flirty, and Nacho's like, okay, bye.
Poor Nacho. When's he gonna explode, Ann?
I cannot say.
Next season.
Well, one day, right?
One day.
Next season.
Come on. I mean, this guy is a powder keg.
Absolutely.
He does nothing but swallow his frustration, sorrow.
That's right.
Fear. It's all he does. He never he's gonna just kill everything in the room when he goes.
I know, it's so wonderful about that character.
But you got to pull the trigger at some point. What is the rule with Chekhov?
The gun.
Don't hang it on the wall in Act 1 if you're not going to use it in Act 3.
Right. Exactly.
He's the gun hanging on the wall.
Mm-hmm. And Michael, the way that you set this up, it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I really found what I found watching these guys and working with them a little bit and just really seeing what they brought to the scene is how, surprisingly to me, how connected they are. I mean, they're such different people, these characters, but you really see a father and son, I think. And it explains some of why Nacho has so much, like Bob was saying, so much like repressed emotion. Because his father is this really feeling person.
That's right.
I love that.
And and it's like underneath everything that Nacho does, it's his father. His father's always, I think, in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Vas a trabajar 11 horas al día por el resto de tu vida.
Yeah, I mean, this is just two great actors playing off each other.
Es una buena oferta. Finalmente, te podrías jubilar.
This is one of those scenes where we started wider, made it a little more formal, a little more, the silhouette shots. Then the slightly wider, edgier frames, and then finally, when the scene starts to get to the heart of the scene, I should say, you're really in it with them in these tight shots.
Yeah, I mean it's such the way that you're telling the story with the camera. It's wonderful. It's such a great lesson.
I'm happy you say that, but the show is blessed with some wonderful camera people.
Oh, Marshall Adams, our DP.
Brilliant. Marshall Adams, a brilliant DP.
Yes.
And, and Paul Donaghy and Matt Creedle on the cameras.
Camera operators. Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Great team.
Si quieres huir, huye. Pero yo, ni madres, yo no voy a huir.
And again, this is one of those scenes where, the father has Nacho's number. He knows that Nacho was behind this, so-called offer to buy the upholstery shop.
Not for nothing, Michael Mando, not a Spanish speaker. So these scenes are always exciting.
Yeah, but he does a really good job.
Amazing.
He learns phonetically, I guess.
He does, and really
his first language is French.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
English is number 2.
That's amazing.
Right.
So, and I don't know if there's a 3 or 4 of it. He's been around the world.
Yes.
He's lived around the world, and it's a surprising, amazing person with an amazing life story, which I won't tell, but somebody should get it out of him because it's great.
Agreed.
Well, he brings it to work with him in his performances.
He does. You know what else he brings? His love for his father and his family. And his father was going through a lot in this season, and his father has passed away recently.
Yes.
But during this season in particular, his dad was dealing with cancer and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of his all his process and feelings.
Yeah.
As such, I still agree with the state that this matter is worth the court's time.
Your Honor.
Jury selection begins June 16th.
These scenes are always hard when we're trying to show, because this particular scene is not necessarily about the case, and coming up with, okay, so what is this case here? What are they talking about? It's, the scene has another purpose.
Yeah, it's very much like it's Kim getting in too deep in her particular, I don't know if you call it an addiction, but this public defense
obsession, yeah.
Obsession, a little bit like Jimmy getting in too deep on the other end.
That's right.
I thought you were going to say it's hard because courtrooms are boring.
Well, there's that too, and we almost always shoot in the same courtroom, and we always try to make it look different.
Hands on. Well, I'm flattered, but my clients need me. I have a full day.
So now Kim is being called away by Rich Schweikart.
I promise you, Tucum carries under control. The associates are more than capable.
Help me to understand.
Always fun to see Dennis.
Oh yeah.
Rich, this is just Kevin being Kevin.
Now, don't get me wrong. I respect your devotion to your pro bono clients. But Mesa Verde keeps the lights on.
He's always a nice guy when he's dressing her down.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
He's really mad at her here, but he's very reasonable.
Yeah, he's not your stereotypical hard-ass boss.
But she gets it.
Oh yeah.
She's the challenging one. I mean,
That's
we
right.
don't know that.
All right.
I think this is the season where we start to see just really what a hard nut she is. In the past, she seems like this reasonable person who, is a good person and trying to be respectable and good at her job. And then this season, she just digs her heels in. And fucking, I don't, I mean, whatever's driving her becomes, I got to say, for me, far more of a mystery than anything. I think we know Jimmy now.
Yes.
But this character of Kim is just, she's got a past. It's complicated, and what the hell is it?
Yeah, and she's at a tipping point in this episode, as we'll see later in some of the scenes she has. But I do think Jimmy, we know Jimmy, and we have a big experience with Saul, obviously, from Breaking Bad. But I think it's fascinating to watch Jimmy get in deeper and deeper with scenes like this and the next one.
Yeah, but you know where he's going, and he's going to a bad place. It's fun to think he doesn't know it, but
that's right.
But Kim is a mystery, and of course, the way this season ends, she's like, that mystery just grows and becomes kind of the pressing issue.
Agreed.
This was fun. As you'll see when the car arrives, it was really fun to play this mysterious re-entrance into the world, which was a real surprise, which was kept as a real surprise from a lot of people. There were fake names, and there were all
from every. I mean, we all, and Sony did a great job of hiding the fact that that Dean was going to be on the show.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Dean.
Yeah, I forgot. I got to get my script and find the fake name. It was Duke something. Duke.
It was Duke.
Duke. Yeah.
Duke and Yancey.
But Vergomi.
Yeah.
Dean, I would just feel like the second you got on a plane for Albuquerque, people would be IDing you. And
yeah.
Look at that. There he is.
There he is.
The great smile.
Hey!
I love it so much.
I do too. It's so much fun.
And then I was at this scene, the way that Anne and Peter and everybody just had you just right back in the rhythm of early Breaking Bad. It was phenomenal to watch.
Yeah, that was really fun when we got the script to see that.
What did you think about, Dean? What did you think about when you thought about going back to this character and just meeting him actually before the events of
right? I mean, it was mainly just to lose all the stuff at the end of Breaking Bad, which was
right.
Kind of fun to get to play him at his boisterous, bombastic best. Yeah,
I love that.
And unburdened.
Right?
Yeah,
and loving what he's doing.
Right.
That's right.
Well, I went back because I didn't work on Breaking Bad. I mean, I saw it as a fan, and so I went back and watched a lot of scenes so I could get the banter.
Yeah.
All right. This is a powerhouse scene.
Yeah. So yet another one. And in this episode, I mean, this episode is marked by multi-page scenes where you get a real chance to watch people grow. I mean, it was so much fun to watch you two. Had you and Steven seen each other at all since the end of Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah, I see. I stay in touch with him a lot.
That's great.
I've probably seen him a couple times, at least. I'll go to Albuquerque. Wow. I like how Hank didn't look at the stuff, too.
Yeah.
Didn't look at the notes.
And I don't know, just from, an outsider's point of view, I mean, when I was watching you do this, Dean, it felt like you just slipped right back into that character. I mean, it was so much fun, like as a fan to watch you.
Yeah, well, thanks for the writing because, the writing let us do that. I mean, that, like you said, the banter, certainly at the beginning, and his whole smart-ass way of doing these kind of interrogations, it was perfect. It was perfect Hank written,
Oh, good. Well, yeah, that was, of course, the goal.
And this was all implied, or at least began by the fact from Breaking Bad that they had this informant. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
I love that.
And I love how we had actually when Peter first called me to do it, we had a little discussion about we skirt because I actually did have the scene with Bob in Breaking Bad, but we had to kind of just skirt around it. It wasn't much of it. It was one line.
That's right.
Yeah, we watched that scene a whole bunch. in the room. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
And I don't think
short,
it affected
but it was
anything.
great.
But
No, I think it's fine. I think it didn't.
yeah,
We didn't mess anything up.
Special agent.
I love that. I love that your character sees right through. Sees.
I love it. I know.
right. He's the. I love that part too. Where
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got Saul's number right away.
Yeah.
And he's also got just great, Dean's got great power on screen. And I think it's just, I don't know if Saul meets, well, I guess he's got Lalo, but this guy can put a stop to things, I think. I just love seeing Saul dance like this. You know, it means he's scared.
Right. And I'm glad too. They always did in Breaking Bad. They always allowed Hank to be, smart, even though he wasn't catching them. And I think that was a real important part of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you couldn't think he was a dum dum.
No, you just had a formidable opponent.
Yeah.
And in fact, he does a good deal at the end of the scene. He plays it well. He negotiates strongly.
Yeah.
Error. Also showing a heartbreaking lack of faith in his attorney.
And I just love that this whole thing going on, at least from Saul, from Jimmy's perspective, is it's all, this act that he came up with.
There is a moment coming up that I think, Bob, I remember we were doing it and you kind of talked about it.
Struggling. Struggling to act. What was it? What was I doing?
No.
You mentioned about, you wanted to take something. I needed to make my point of.
What if we say it's contingent?
It's toward the end.
Yeah.
Well, you mean the moment where he has to go off script, essentially, because your character, Dean, you throw this at him that, it's contingent.
Yeah.
And what he tells us doesn't
Arrests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But then also Bob negotiates it's a moment of humanity from him where he negotiates for his safety.
Yes. Exactly. Which is wonderful because he does, his client is a person,
right?
And he does understand that and feels that, and it's
right.
It's a great dimension to Saul.
Okay, now how can you say no to that?
Well,
win for you guys.
I mean, he
didn't want the arrest, right? He didn't want the arrest.
That was
obviously. But and you saw that there.
Well, now it's a win-win.
Yeah, well, Saul's bravado it's just a big show.
Right.
Yeah, it's fun to play. I mean, this part of Saul is really I recognize from Breaking Bad. And obviously I've done it a fair amount in Better Call Saul too, but it's all you saw of Saul in Breaking Bad until he got in real trouble. But all you saw was the showman.
But at this point in his life, Bob, I think he still has some of the soul. I mean, like later, even with Lalo, and in the next scene with Lalo, he'll say, "Hey, I want him to be okay. Like he's my client."
Yeah, but he's trying to get away from that.
Yeah,
he's trying to get away from his humanity. Please.
Yep, that's true. Fine. And this kind of amazingly was the scene that we were shooting at the same time that we were shooting Ants.
Yes.
Which seems crazy now to think about, but as we were talking about Paul Donaghy, the great, who's now since shot some of these episodes, has been a DP in later episodes. He was spearheading the camera on the Ants, and we had all these monitors set up, and we were watching this scene, and we were watching Ants. It was
a strange combination. Yeah,
it was crazy.
Share screen time with an ant, right, Bob? Dogs and ants.
Dogs and ants.
Okay. Dean, it was a great honor that you came back to the show. I really appreciate it. Our show, I've thought about this a lot over the years, and the goodwill that we were gifted with when we started Better Call Saul was not actually something I expected. I actually expected to get just the shit kicked out of me and the show. because and I only thought of this far too late. But honestly, I thought, we're just going to get, when I saw the billboard go up, I was like, oh my God, people are going to hate us for doing this. And also everyone's going to check it out. They're not going to go, oh, I don't know. They're going to go, they're going to watch it, and they're going to say, why did they do this with Breaking Bad? Why did they do any more? But because you guys were so great, and because you got the ball rolling so well, and also because Breaking Bad ended before people were done with it.
Right.
If it had gone 2 more years, I don't think we could have done Better Call Saul and been greeted with the trust and the goodwill that we got. We came on, and people, obviously Vince and Peter and the whole writing staff did a great job with that first episode. But honestly, even at that, it's only because Breaking Bad did not, it just didn't, it ended before people were done with it.
Yeah, it didn't overstay its welcome.
Okay.
Not even close.
Yeah.
No.
Not even close.
I think we all tried to overstay our Well, we appreciate that. And obviously what's happened with Better Call Saul is that, to kind of keep the Breaking Bad feel and awesomeness of writing, but also create your own show has just been fantastic to watch.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know Vince and Peter and again the whole writing staff wanted to do something new. And in fact, when we first talked about Better Call Saul, Vince and Peter were talking about maybe it's a half-hour comedy, maybe I'm not kidding. They said, and then the thing they most thought they would do is a 1-hour procedural.
Wow.
Possibly for network, where every week Saul has a different client.
Wow.
And he settles the case out of court. He never goes to court. He's kind of famous for he's never been in court, is what they.
Right.
He's actually never gone to court. And that's a funny idea and probably might make a good show. But in the end, they leaned closer to Breaking Bad, but still not the same. And we're just very lucky how it all played out. And I just appreciate everybody from Breaking Bad has been so supportive of our effort to do this. And then for you to give us the vote of confidence to join us is just the biggest thing of all. And thank you. And I know that as the story goes, there's a chance more cast members from Breaking Bad will join us still, which would be very exciting. And I think that you starting that, if it were to happen, is just even more meaningful to me and to all of us. So thanks.
Well, absolutely, man. Thank you. Appreciate that. But it was a real honor to get back, and it was just so much fun to get to read another script, that you love.
And how many people did you know from the crew?
About half, I would say, maybe.
That's amazing.
There was a ton of excitement on the crew.
Oh, yeah.
At least half.
That was really fun.
That was a fun day, that first day.
Yeah.
You worked, yeah.
My perception of it, Dean, is not that people have changed all that much, but I do think probably in the 5 years, you say it feels about half, and that's probably right. We're about half. But still, I look at the prop team, and that's pretty much the prop team from Breaking Bad.
Except for one of them's now a producer.
How about that?
That's right.
That's true.
Nice work, Trina.
Yeah.
A great producer, too.
Yeah. Everybody from Breaking Bad has gone on. We had, our camera guys who are now DPs and now directors, and in some cases, executive producers on things. You think about that.
Oh, this was so hard to shoot, wasn't it, Michael?
This was this was very challenging. You can see in some of the shots that there was a lot of wind and that kicked up sand, and we lost hours to a sandstorm. The light changed massively. We actually had to come back and shoot some pickups, which we almost never do on Ray for some of her close-ups. But in the end, we pretty much used everything we got from that day. I mean, Barry Corbin here, who's just feels like America to me in so many ways, you know.
Yeah, that was great casting.
He is wonderful. And also, you know, what an interesting tipping point moment for Kim, right? Where she thinks she's doing the right thing. She thinks she's negotiating, and suddenly this comes out.
I know.
And then she has this crisis in a way of conscience later.
Yeah, I love having the opportunity to write for Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ray told me about this. She told me that this was a nightmare this day.
It was so hard. It was so hard. I mean, guess where you don't want to shoot in a sandstorm is a desert, it turns out.
Dean, did you ever shoot outside in like a sandstorm down there?
I'm not sure if we had sandstorms, but yeah, we shot on a lot of, dusty, crazy locations.
Do you remember, Dean, this was more of a phenomenon in Breaking Bad than Better Call Saul so far, but I remember shooting scenes in the heat. This was super fun.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I just want to say, I remember Breaking Bad, Dean, shooting in like unbelievable heat. And then that was the end of the season. And then coming back to shoot in the bitter cold, the rest of the scene.
Right. Right.
Tony definitely wanted to drive that car. I'm just going to say on the day, he was like,
"Oh yeah,
I'm on for this."
Yeah, you guys don't let me do anything.
We didn't let you have any fun.
You didn't let me jump in the car. You didn't let me jump from the roof.
I would have let you do it, but no, just kidding.
It's the insurance.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I love how the scene turned out. I love that we found this, or our locations department found this incredible location.
We thought you'd written it for this because you'd written like an abandoned racetrack, and it turns out that 15 minutes from the studio is this abandoned racetrack, and we must have thought that you'd seen it. You'd never.
No.
Incredible.
No, incredible. Christian, our locations manager, found this perfect place. Maybe Peter I feel like Peter or Tom had scouted this location for another episode and didn't use it, and maybe one of them brought it up in the room, but
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I love at the beginning of this scene as that car's racing around the track, how it just looks like Bob, you and Michael have just been there for hours, just bored, dusty, scared a little bit.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. Well, this was fun to do. It's just great. It's just a great trio here.
Yeah.
And
trying to get out of it. Look at you.
Yeah. I can't believe Saul got in such hot water with Lalo so fast. He did not get a break, this guy. You'd think he'd get to set up his office, and that office.
Yes.
And you'd think he'd get to do, run his business for a year or two.
I know. Just didn't work out that way.
He didn't even set up his stupid office yet, and he's already going to die.
Well, we got to keep throwing things at you.
Yeah, that would have been too boring, Bob.
It's drama.
I want this guy to just get a normal day where he gets his coffee, is entertained by some idiotic drug dealers, leaves work early, goes to the strip club, gets a little too drunk, gets a hand job in the parking lot.
Well, that's, in Breaking Bad. That's
a glorious day.
Glorious.
The perfect day.
We got a continuance.
Good. Davenport?
The judge read your motion.
It sure looked great, that racetrack on camera.
It was beautiful.
That was really something.
And I love the enjoyment that you gave Lalo, Tony. Just the kind of, there's some glee in everything that he does. I love watching.
Yeah, he has a good time. He has no worries.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, there were a couple moments, Tony, when you added something, something that wasn't in the script, and that energy that you have, and it was just, it worked so well.
Yeah.
People
Thanks.
love Lalo. The fans love Lalo.
All right, good job, Steph.
Thanks, Kim. Get home safe.
Yep, have a good evening.
It's a great scene of subtext. It's a very complicated little scene, this, without any dialogue to sort of, explain, which is exactly what you don't want to see, is the dialogue that explains everything. But here, nothing is explained, and it's so interesting. But she really feels she's at a moment she has to do something.
I always loved the scripts of Breaking Bad, and I think the same with Better Call Saul, where the prose in between the dialogue was so descriptive. People never, I think it maybe came through, and we were always given great direction for those scenes where you don't say anything via the script.
Well, Dean, it's like a rule of screenplay writing, an old rule not to do that. And I think I think that's insane because I love that stuff. I'm like you. I right from the first time I saw that in Breaking Bad, where the script tells me, the actor, this is what the character's thinking about. This is maybe a subtextual, emotional. I loved hearing that.
Yeah.
And I love that everybody who reads the script sees that, and that it tells the director to go ahead and stay with this. We don't have a line here. Just get that emotion on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know why that rule is so stupid. And I've told so many writers since then, to do that, to just write that shit in. And because you know what it is, if you're writing, and Anne, you could speak to this, if you don't have that to rely on, if you feel like your screenplay 101 teacher ordered you never to write subtext, that you then write dialogue. You start to write this fucking words that are not as good.
Well, yeah, because it becomes expositional, and that's no fun for the actor or I think the audience.
I went to a real estate office. I found some houses.
So now we have Kim coming back.
There's some really nice.
Now Barry Corbin?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Great character actor. You've seen him in a million things. An older guy, loved being there. Just a joy to be around. These great, diehard character actors have been everywhere. They're just so much fun. They know how to be on set. They know.
That's right.
There's absolutely no question of them bringing it.
Yeah.
When somebody says action, it's an amazing thing to see.
That's right.
And this show gives us so many opportunities to cast those people, those great actors, and come in for, a few days. And it's just, they make them, he made the material better.
Ray's really good at working under pressure, because this was the end of that same day. I think if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And we'd had an awful lot to deal with that day, and there were, and it was constant rushing, and then constant waiting, and constant rushing, and here we were right at the very, very end of the day, and she has this beautiful speech and beautiful memory to give, and she was just right there.
Yeah, she brought it, and I mean, she constantly impresses me.
My toes turn blue.
And getting this right, this speech here, because we didn't want it to sound maudlin, I suppose, and there was a lot of fine tuning in the script. And then, of course, on the day,
he gives him nothing. Look at that.
Yep.
Oh man,
I know.
I love it. Failure.
It's a heartbreaker, that one.
I mean, because it's not like this character ever talks about herself, her personal life, her past, and so she decided this one time she was going to do it.
Talk about subtext.
There was more to this scene originally. There was a bit of a prologue before this moment where Gus is standing over thinking, but Giancarlo is able to bring all of that into the second half of the scene, I think. So even in that look, you know something's going on.
Yeah, I mean, this was an example of you get into the editing room and you realize, okay, we didn't need that first part of the scene.
Yeah.
This is an unbelievably beautiful show that I happen to be on.
Yes.
It's watching it again. I'm like, I ought to watch this series. This is good.
I know the cinematography. It's
Meanwhile,
gorgeous.
I'm watching American Pickers and what's that? And Antiques Roadshow.
You gotta
where
watch
the
Alone.
Cinematography is not so great.
Alone. Don't get me started. Alone.
What is Alone great?
Obsessed with Alone.
Obsessed.
What is it? All right, well, I'll find out.
The dead drops remain.
Giancarlo Esposito, everyone.
Yes.
One of the greats of all time.
Absolutely. Okay, so here's now we're coming back to, we're circling back to this car, another car pulling in, same space, same shot.
Just so much weariness in her. I love it.
Bad day.
Yeah, she had a rough day. Well, both of the characters did.
And Anne, from here, obviously there's no dialogue left. You played this last scene.
I know.
Even at script, you played it with no words. Was that something that you came into this wanting to do, or did it just happen during the writing?
No, I mean, it happened. It was decided in the room, when we were just figuring it out. We thought, this could be interesting if they don't speak, because what is there really to say? They both had a shitty day, and
yet the subtext, look how they're playing
and they don't want to talk about it. Neither of them want to talk about it, and so we thought, well, maybe let's try this, and it worked out well.
I have now smoked in a number of things, and I've got to get better at this. I tell you what I'm going to do. This is a promise, and you guys have to help me, Ann.
Yeah.
When I'm smoking in a scene, you've got to highlight it in the script, because I'm going to get a pack of cigarettes and I'm going to start smoking a few days before.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I just...
Well, I don't...
the way you handle... No, I don't.
Well, I mean, but the character... Okay, but the character doesn't smoke that much. I mean,
that's true. That's
so
true.
It's like you guys are occasional, you're occasional smokers. So I mean, I buy it.
Yeah, but that's true. I'm one of those. I actually have friends who smoke like this. They have like one cigarette every 2 weeks.
Or once a month or whatever.
Yeah.
To me, the smoking is some of my. I love the scenes between you and Kim early in the series. Smoking. She's smoking, you're talking.
I know, but I got to learn to handle it better.
All right. Well, and we, by the way, it's not like we like putting it in there, because we know that, we don't really want people to watch other, characters smoke on screen. But, it's these characters, it feels real, and that's why we do it.
There it is.
Well,
there it is.
Thank you, Dean.
There's your credit. There's the credit.
Got a credit. Good, yeah.
Thank you, everybody. That was a pleasure.
Thank you.